M. Night Shyamalan is easily one of my favourite directors, despite his very divisive filmography, with some of his films being humanist masterpieces, and others being tedious, hilarious, or sometimes both. He is undeniably talented, both off-screen and on-screen. Yes, he cameos in his own movies. Shyamalan is easily known as one of the most mocked directors of all time, and that is somewhat justified for some of his later works. But his early few films explore some very profound human themes such as grief and trauma, love, sacrifice, accepting who you are, and religion. Here's why you should watch M. Night Shyamalan's early 4 films. I'll try and keep this as spoiler-free as I can. The Sixth Sense is the film that catapulted M. Night Shyamalan into the global spotlight mainly for its twist ending, which is considered worldwide as one of the best twist endings of all time. At its core, The Sixth Sense abides by one theme: coping with grief and trauma. The film follows Dr. Malcolm Crowe, a child therapist recovering from an unexpected incident. He meets Cole, a young boy with a strange ability to see ghosts wandering around like regular humans. Don't worry, that's not the twist ending. Throughout the first half of the film, Malcolm and Cole bond through their shared experiences of the darker parts of society. For Malcolm, it's an incident that left him and his wife reeling and feeling disconnected from each other. For Cole, it's being cast out from society and told that he's something that he isn't, as well as being tormented by the spirits of the undead who lurk around every nook and cranny of every building, street, house, road, and more. The central relationship between these two characters in The Sixth Sense is what provides the emotional heart of the story. Both of these characters are the light in each other's darkness. Cole helps Malcolm slowly come out of his shell and reveal things about himself that he wouldn't have revealed otherwise. And Malcolm helps Cole deal with his day-to-day problems like bullies and the eventual reveal of his sixth sense. The friendship between Malcolm and Cole provides a pretty powerful commentary on the desire for communication and understanding when coping with trauma and grief. Without diving into spoils, the story reveals how the past haunts the present, literally and metaphorically, and how healing begins when people confront their pain. Watching The Sixth Sense is a very moving experience that it challenges to think about the ways we can help ourselves and others move forward. Unbreakable released 1 year after The Sixth Sense. It got very moderate reviews at the box office, sort of being overlooked by pretty much everyone who watched it. In Unbreakable, Shyamalan reimagines what a character-driven superhero story could be, one rooted in self-discovery rather than a spectacle. The film's protagonist, David Dunn, played subtly but spectacularly by Bruce Willis, is an ordinary man living an unremarkable life. He's going through marital problems, he feels disconnected with his son, and he wakes up every morning with an aura of sadness and melancholy floating over him, until a sudden event forces him to question his abilities. Unbreakable, in my opinion, is Shyamalan's best film to date. It's an absolute masterpiece, and one of the most underrated and overlooked movies ever made. It's not quite as heartbreaking as The Sixth Sense, but it's infinitely more dramatic and suspenseful, and its themes impact the audience very long after the credits roll. I'm not saying The Sixth Sense doesn't do that, by the way. Themes of identity and resilience drive the story of Unbreakable, making the story a subtle but powerful journey about recognizing your potential and accepting who you truly are, even if it challenges societal norms or personal doubts. The film is also quite slow burning, but I think that's the best possible route that the film could have taken. It slowly intrigues and builds up to a riveting climax. Shyamalan also directs the hell out of this film, assigning color motifs to the main characters. Everything David Dunn touches, wears, and is surrounded by is the color green, and everything Elijah Price touches, wears, and is surrounded by is the color purple. These small details show how much Shyamalan cared about this film and how he wanted it to have its own unique style. But in the end, Unbreakable is a reflection on what it means to confront the extraordinary within us, even in the face of fear and skepticism. Signs is Shyamalan's first true thriller. Released in 2002, 2 years after Unbreakable's overlook at the box office, Signs brought Shyamalan back into the light. Signs is an alien invasion thriller about the intersection between faith and fear. The story follows a family whose quiet life is interrupted by unsettling events occurring in their property. Strange figures appear on rooftops, eerie noises are made around the house, and odd signals are broadcast through walkie-talkies. These events eventually force the family to confront their beliefs about faith, coincidence, and destiny. Shyamalan explores how humans wrestle with the meaning of suffering and whether or not it serves a greater purpose. The character's inner journey of skepticism and eventual clarity delivers a portrait of religious faith and the ways that it can be reignited during overwhelming situations. It's also quite suspenseful, even more so than Unbreakable. At times it can feel quite Spielbergian too, with moments of terror and unsettle. Watching Signs reminds us of the importance of perspective and the belief that even the day-to-day challenges of life might be part of a greater, unknowable plan. 2004 is the year that people really started to doubt M. Night Shyamalan's filmmaking abilities. The Village came out, with much hype surrounding its marketing, but the majority of audiences at the time came out of the theatre with disappointment, mainly due to both the misguided marketing and the twist ending. The Village is definitely a flawed film, more so than his previous 3 movies. However, it is also another piece of exemplary filmmaking from Shyamalan, and has similar humanism themes as his previous movies. The good here far outweighs the bad. The Village is a story set during the 1800s in a village where its residents are terrified of creatures that live in the woods. There is a boundary between the woods and the village, and if any of the villagers were to cross this boundary, the creatures would attack. Today, The Village is still considered by some to be one of Shyamalan's worst, but I think it's fantastic despite its flaws. It's no less human than his previous movies. It's a powerful story about the lengths to which people will go to protect themselves, what, and whom they love. It's about selflessness and sacrifice, depicting love as not merely an emotion, but as an action with profound consequences. Shyamalan writes these themes of trust, courage, and community into a story that stayed with me long after the credits rolled, as a cautionary parable and also a celebration of the human spirit. I hope I've been able to convince you to watch these movies. They aren't just mysteries or thrillers, but also very human stories with lots of things to say about the journey of a human, loss, love, and purpose. They also allow the opportunity for their viewers to reflect on themselves, their beliefs, and the emotions that connect us all. Whether it's processing grief, finding inner strength, finding your faith again, or motivation through love, these movies can serve as life lessons that profoundly impact the viewer.